Okay, in general, this tip will cover just some different things that you can do with this program to make it fancy. You're going to have to do at least a few of them, so let's take a quick look. Oh, well, I was going to start over here at the Sound Bible and look for some sound effects. So let's just say you want to make, something happen whenever machine, the clock ticks. So I'm just going to randomly look for something strange. Coin drop. Oh, it's going to take forever to load. That's unfortunate. My internet just disappeared. So the problem of this is that if you don't test them, you have no idea. If this is going to be a every 1 second tick, we don't want it to be a really long sound effect. And so it's a good idea to test them first. There, it finally goes. So that was like 3 seconds long. So that's not really going to work for us. Either is that one. So you have to find these really quick samples as a. Well, that's interesting. How about a button? Okay, there we go. It's a bit more boring. How about a lever? Nope. Okay, so a button press. And again, I just copy. If you haven't seen sounds before, this is what you do: is you copy the MP3 link. So I just copy that link address. And over here in my code, at the top somewhere, I have to load this in, just like I would load in a graphic. So I would call it, sound, whatever I want to call that, and write the command to load a sound. And then inside the quotation marks, you put the URL that you found the sound. And that's all you have to do to load a sound. And then when you want that sound to play, so every time my counter clicks, I just tell it to play that sound. And that is the inevitable sound of your doom. Haha. Uh-oh. Better hit reset or it's never going to stop. So that's your basic thing here, is on the counter you can make a sound effect go. Now, what other things can you do? Well, one thing I played around with was changing the color. So that's not that hard. We have a counter, and you know we can basically create some if statements. So if my count is less than 3, I could make it yellow. And if my count is less than 6, now because I'm doing an elif, I know that less than 6 means greater than 3 and less than 6. So I can say, well, I want to make this color green. And you can just kind of keep on going to your heart's content. I'll just do one more. I'm just going to say if it's less than 8, make it cyan. And then maybe I'll do an else and make it white. So I can change the colors based on where I am. So there we go. You can also maybe make a button. Well, if you make a button to stop the sound, then you can say sound stop so that it doesn't keep on making the ticking sound every time you want to go. So there's some basic ones. Now there's one other one that I did on my sample that I'll show you. That one's maybe the trickiest one. In order to do that, I'm going to get rid of the color change because I just want to focus on one draw command instead of all the draw commands. And that is for what I was thinking is I wanted to make a little bit of animation on here. So I made a variable called text size, and I started it at 0. So instead of 128, I said draw my text size. Now if I was to leave it here, then the text size would be 0, and I would get exactly 0 interesting effects because my text is no longer able to be seen. So instead, I said that the text size goes up by, some amount. You can decide how you want to do it. So now every time it draws it, it then increases the size of it. And so, of course, it doesn't like that because it needs to be globalized. So there we go. So now my text is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so how do I reset that every once in a while? So down here, every time it ticks, you can have it do something, right? So what if I reset it to 0 every time it ticks? Well, that didn't work. Probably because I didn't globalize the text size again. So now it starts over again and kind of gets as big as it can. It seems like it interrupts it just when it's about to get big. Do you see how, now the only thing about this is I wasn't unhappy because it starts here at the bottom corner and the text gets bigger from the bottom corner. And I thought that was a little bit annoying. I wanted to get bigger right from the middle. And so I had to think about that for a while. And that's where I realized, this point right here. I need to get it to draw it in a different spot, and that spot's got to change. So what I did was I said, I want you to draw in the middle, but I want you to change based on the text size. And after playing with it, I realized it had to be a minus text size and a plus text size. At least I'm pretty sure. Now, it's not going to be perfect. See, now it just does it down to the corner. And so that's not how you do it. So what I did was I divided that number, and that seemed to grow perfectly with it. It's kind of shaky if you watch it because it's kind of adjusting itself as it goes. But it's trying to play out from the center of it rather than from the side of it. So that's what that little adjustment is. So there's 3 different things I came up with. Maybe you can think of some other effects that you could put on yours to create other interesting things.